If you ever visit the Stanley Hotel, remember one rule: never look into the mirrors after midnight. Ethan Walsh had never believed in ghosts. He was a travel documentarian who thrived on exposing myths, debunking local legends, and proving to the world that fear was simply another story people told themselves. When his producers asked him to create a Halloween special about America's most haunted places, he scoffed until they mentioned one name: the Stanley Hotel. The place where Stephen King himself had once woken from a nightmare so vivid it birthed The Shining. A place layered with 60 years of guests whispering one name: Room 217. Ethan booked its last available room, 217 itself. The Stanley Hotel sat like a crown on a hill overlooking Estes Park, its white facade glowing ghostly under the rising moon. Ethan filmed the exterior, joking into his camera, "Let's see if this place is as haunted as everyone claims." Inside, the lobby looked frozen in time: velvet carpets, amberlit chandeliers, polished banisters that seemed too perfect. A grand piano rested beside the lobby fireplace, old yet elegant. The desk clerk, a pale woman with hollow cheeks, handed him a brass key. "You're staying in a historic room," she said, pausing too long. "If you hear anything unusual, avoid acknowledging it. Spirits here enjoy attention." Ethan smirked. Perfect for the documentary. As he climbed the staircase, he noticed something strange. The hotel felt alive, as if every wall was listening. After dropping his bags in room 217, Ethan returned to the lobby to film nighttime ambience shots. The piano stood silent in the dim light. But when he turned his back to review footage, a single note rang out. Soft, lonely, deliberate. He spun around. No one was near the piano. Ethan approached it, his camera recording. The keys were still. Then, without warning, the piano played again, this time a slow, haunting arpeggio. A melody that felt like a lullaby for the dead. A cold gust swept across the lobby. The chandelier flickered. The air smelled faintly of roses, old, wilted, forgotten. Ethan lifted his camera. "If someone is here, show yourself." The piano lid snapped shut with a violent bang. He jumped back, and the rose's scent instantly turned to that of damp earth. Back on the second floor, Ethan walked towards his room. The corridor was long and golden, like a tunnel stretching into another era. Then he heard them. Children's laughter. Light. Playful. Wrong. He turned the corner, hall empty. He continued walking. The laughter grew louder, echoing behind him. Then tiny footsteps. Running. Ethan whirled around. Nothing. But as he lifted his camera, something flickered in the far end of the hallway, the silhouette of a small girl in a white dress. She stood perfectly still. Too still. Ethan whispered, "Hello." The girl tilted her head, snapped into a grin far too wide, and vanished. Not faded. Vanished. His room felt colder than before. The Victorian decor cast long shadows on the walls. His camera battery, full just minutes ago, was now blinking red. He sat on the bed to record his thoughts. The atmosphere here is heavy. Either this place is genuinely haunted or the stories are messing with me. A soft knock on the bathroom door made him pause. Hello? Housekeeping. Silence. He walked over and pushed the door open. Nothing. He exhaled shakily. This is ridiculous. The door slammed shut behind him, trapping him inside the small bathroom. The temperature dropped instantly. Frost spiderwebbed across the mirror. And then, footsteps in the room outside. Slow. Heavy. Not a child. Not a staff member. Something was dragging its weight across the carpet. Ethan pressed his ear to the bathroom door. His breath fogged in front of him. Then a whisper slid through the crack at the bottom. You shouldn't have come. The lights went out. The bathroom was pitch black until the mirror began to glow faintly, reflecting something that wasn't part of the room. In the mirror stood a woman in a tattered housekeeping uniform, hair dripping as though she had drowned. Her skin pale, lips gray. She raised a trembling hand toward Ethan. Her mouth opened, and a flood of murky water began pouring from the mirror. Ethan backed against the wall as the water rose around his ankles, cold as winter graves. The woman's eyes rolled back. Her voice gurgled through the rushing water. Room 217 never forgets. The bathroom door burst open. The water vanished instantly. Ethan stumbled out, gasping. Standing in his room was the same pale desk clerk. But her eyes were wrong. Completely black. You're filming too much, she whispered. The hotel won't let you leave. Ethan ran into the hallway, heart pounding. The corridor had changed, stretching impossibly long, lights flickering violently. Every door was now open. And behind each one, silhouettes stood watching him. Motionless. Faceless. Waiting. The children's laughter returned, now twisted, echoing from all directions. Ethan sprinted toward the staircase, but the moment he blinked, he was back at room 217. He tried again. Again, he returned. The hotel had trapped him in a loop. A shadow crawled along the ceiling, limbs bending backwards like broken branches. It whispered his name. Ethan. He dropped his camera. The creature descended slowly, upside down, face grinning like a cracked porcelain doll. Ethan burst into the lobby, desperate for the exit, but the front doors were boarded shut, as if they had been abandoned for decades. The chandeliers burned brighter than before, glowing blood red. The piano began to play again, only now the melody was frantic, discordant, as though warning him. Behind him, the shadows gathered. Dozens of former guests. Some with empty eye sockets. Some floating. Some drenched in water. Some crawling. At the center stood the drowned housekeeper from the mirror. One stays, she whispered. So the others may rest. The shadows surged toward him. The next morning, hotel staff found Ethan's camera alone in room 217, still recording, battery mysteriously full again. The footage ended with Ethan's trembling whisper. If you're watching this, Do not stay at the Stanley Hotel, the night never ends. There was no sign of him. Only the faint scent of wilted roses. And in the lobby, the piano played a single note, as if greeting a new ghost.